Hey there, Heather Boyd here, and welcome to day 10, the last day of the 10-day watercolor challenge. In this challenge, we'll be doing some pretty simple designs for watercolor using all kinds of different techniques, and we'll be making them in a small card size that you can turn into greeting cards or little miniature works of art. If you're participating in the challenge, be sure to subscribe to my channel and join my private Facebook group. In the group, you can share photos of your projects for the next 10 days. And if you're watching this video after the challenge has ended, go ahead and join the group and share your own artwork. Any mixed media art is fantastic. Today I'm doing 3 exercises from the book Watercolor Success in 4 Steps. I'm going to start by drawing out the shape of an avocado, and we're going to go in with the watercolors after we have our basic shape. I highly recommend this book. I'm going to link it up in the description below. There are so many amazing projects and very simple techniques to do everything from fruit to all kinds of different objects, and super fun. So we're just going to start with the outline and then fill it in a little bit with some watery green. And whatever colors you have is great. So this is sort of like a sap green type color. All the colors are indicated in the book as well. And just very lightly in the middle and a little darker around the outside. I'm going to add little hints of yellow just to give it a little bit more body. And then I'm going to go in and do the pit. Try to let the outside dry before you go into the pit so it won't bleed. And I'm going to do just a little suggestion of a shadow on the tabletop. That could be any color you want. I'm just going for blues. Really the focus is on the fruit or the vegetable. And then we're going to go around the pit a little darker. We want to give it an impression of being 3-dimensional. So that's where we're going with this. We're going to leave some lighter highlights and just go a little darker around the outside. I'm using different shades of brown. I have a warmer brown and sort of a more chocolate brown. And you want it to be very loose. It's a very impressionistic type style. And we want to definitely leave those white areas so it looks like it's coming out from the paper, more 3D. And then I'm going to go back into the avocado, darken it up a bit, add a little more yellow, and just give it a good variety of strokes until you're happy with it. I'm going to add some darker greens in there. Make sure the pit is dry before you do the avocado part as well. You just don't want it to bleed around too much. And just fill it in as you need. Just build up the colors slowly. You can always let it dry and go into it more. And then once it's dry, I went in a little bit more with some darker green, just so the pit pops a little bit. It gives it a little bit more definition. I have a tiny brush for this one. And there's the finished avocado. So next, I'm going to draw out my shape. Guess what it is? And just very lightly with the pencil. And then I'm going to go in and do some little highlights around the outside. I think you're going to figure out what this is very quickly. Do a little bit more. And then darken up some areas a little bit. Give it a little bit of depth. You don't want the colors to be too flat. You can let the lighter color dry first. Or you can just bleed them in a little bit. Is always nice. And just play around with it. You can always stop the video on the finished product and just to copy the colors a little bit more. But this shows you the process of how you get there. And I'm going to add a little bit more ochre in there to give it a little bit more warmth, a little bit more color in there. And then after, I didn't actually film it, so I'm just filming the second layer. The first layer was a very light wash of sort of a pink color, but leaving space, white space for the reflections on the icing. And then now I'm going in a little bit with a darker color to give it a little bit more dimension, a little more interest. And then I just did the little dots for the sparkles. So they're a little more opaque and they're just for fun there. So that's the finished donut. You'll have to get the book if you want full instructions, although the book only has like 4 pictures of each project and a little explanation of the colors. So it's actually really good because you know what colors to use, you know the shapes, and then you can just figure out, you know, kind of the method as you go. So now I'm doing a cupcake. It's hard to see the pencil drawing, but that looks like a little heart up top. That's super cute. And we're going to start with the cherry on top, doing little bits for the cherry, leaving white spaces again so it looks like there's a little bit of reflection going on because the cherries are shiny. And now I'm doing the icing, so I'm going in very lightly and then doing some little darker areas to indicate the layers of the icing. So yeah, just light areas and then a little bit darker as well. I've drawn it out in a way that it's sort of like spirally, like the icing of a cupcake, leaving white spaces again to represent the reflections. And then I'm going in to do the cake part, the chocolate cake part. And I'm leaving a little crinkly line at the top of the cupcake holder thing, whatever you call those things. And then I'm going just to build up the color a little bit more, and a little light wash on the base, and then just loose lines going straight down very quickly, and gives the impression of those crinkly little cupcake holder things. And just little lines, leaving the white spaces so it looks crinkly. Again, a little bit of blue on the base to represent that it's sitting on a table. You can do any color for that. And then now I'm going in to do a little bit more of the garnish. I guess that's icing. I'm not quite sure what that is. And seems to be 2 different kinds of icing, I guess. And you can look at a photograph of a cupcake too for inspiration if you like. Just adding a little bit more color to the cupcake and to the little paper there, and then darkening up the top to give it a little bit more substance. It's fun if you can make the colors like a little darker too. You want them to pop. It'd be nice if they're bright. I went quite light with these projects. You can go darker with them if you prefer, really whatever style you like. Now I'm going in with a finer brush and a darker brown to give it even more of an effect of shadows and to give it some definition as well. So I defined the top of the cupcake holder thing, and that's it. Wherever you see a little detail is needed, going to darken up the cherry a little bit. It's never too late with watercolor to go back into it and darken it up a little bit if you need to. Just have a little fine brush ready to do the details as well. It's always good to have a good variety of paintbrush sizes as well, because you'll need some for larger washes and you'll need some thin ones for the details. And you can get specialty watercolor brushes at the art store. I wouldn't necessarily go for the dollar store brushes. I mean, some of them are okay in a pinch if you need to. And but I bought a few good ones to have a good quality. So there's the finished cupcake. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for lots more art tutorials and join the private Facebook group to share photos of your work from all the challenges. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you the next time.